Hi everybody, welcome in. It's that time. It is our full moon in Aries. I feel like it's all been leading to this. I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. I'm very excited for tonight's ceremony. Part of it is I'm a double fire sign, so this kind of full moon is my jam. Uh, and so I love it. It's this is an absolute butt kicker of a full moon, guys. I mean, if you're navigating it really well, I just want to high five you because this full moon, will slap you around a little bit. It's really good to see you. How have you been navigating it? Has it gone well for you? I certainly hope it has. I love seeing where you're checking in from. If you're new, I'm in Los Angeles. You're here in my house, and it's a pleasure to be with you. So welcome to our full moon ceremony. I do this every month. It's an offering to our community just to get us all together, to drum a little bit, to work with these lunar energies. That's really how Sage Goddess began 10 years ago online, was with these moon ceremonies. And at the full moon, which is tonight, we celebrate this grand illumination, right? We have all of the energy of the moon, which is such a powerful planet. It's a water planet, right? This gets us in touch with our desires and our emotions. And then, of course, the moon transits the signs. So each full moon is in a different sign. And look at that. We have such a diverse, awesome community. I really love it. So whether you're here in the US with me or coming in from another part of the world, I'm thrilled that you're here. And anybody new, anybody not come to a full moon ceremony before, that's kind of fun. Has it been rough? Yeah, I hear you. I mean, here's the thing. An Aries full moon, and sometimes people find each other in the feed. People will say, I'm from, Atlanta, Georgia, and then somebody else will say, really, you're in Atlanta? And then they'll meet and become friends, which is kind of cool. So it is kind of nice to do a check-in with everybody. And hi to Alexis and Team SG too. Thank you for being here. In any case, this full moon tonight is all about you getting it together. Think about what Aries is. I'm raising an Aries teenage son who's turning 15 soon, and which is hard to believe. But he is such an Aries, right? He's a self-starter. I never have to tell him, hey, do your homework. Hey, get your baseball stuff together. I never have to do that. He's a real self-starter. He is stubborn. But he is almost always right. Aries is very accurate. You may not like what Aries is going to tell you, but it's probably true. And he's been pretty accurate since he was born. So anyway, I do love a nice Aries full moon, but I'm also somebody who really enjoys kind of, I'm a taskmaster a little bit in my life. I'm very much a type A, so this is my moon. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do tonight, okay? We're working with Freyja, and I get to talk to you about Freyja for a second. I hope you're excited about that. I found an invocation to Freyja that I wanted to play for you. It's in Old Norse. It's kind of cool to hear Old Norse. You down for that? Because I kind of want to get you into the energy of this goddess too. She's one of my favorite goddesses, and I know you love Freyja too. And with the rise of the popularity of Vikings and all of that, there's been such a renewed interest and focus in the Norse tradition, in the Norse pantheon, and we'll talk about why Freyja is so powerful. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to take this Freyja Aries fire energy, and we're going to grid tonight. If you have the tools, then you already have your stuff to grid with, and I'll show you the tools in a second. If you don't have the tools, maybe you want to build your own grid, or at least have a piece of quartz with you tonight. That's really the only thing you need, okay? So that you can program that quartz to magnify what I'm about to tell you. I want you to put, for the next 30 days, the next lunar cycle, I want you to put all your energy towards something that you really want to achieve or accomplish. And I really want you to think tonight about what that is, right? What is it that if 2021 finishes, which it will right here in pretty short order too, at the end of 2021, what will you regret not giving your attention to this year? Is there something where you're like, well, now that she's saying it, I probably should go back and then fill in the blank, right? Write the book, start the business, recommit to my family, start a better way of eating. I don't know what it is for you. And it can be anything. But what we're going to do tonight is kind of draw down that lunar energy and direct that light in our ceremony tonight. And through drumming, we're going to raise additional energy and really help you focus. Because Aries is going to give you that initiative tonight, and then you energetically can carry that forward through the coming weeks. And then at the next new moon, I want to challenge you to set an intention aligned to what you choose tonight. And that will kind of put more gas in the tank. That will reinforce all the work that we're doing tonight. And then as the moon begins to wane, I want you to really focus on, after the new moon, focus on releasing obstacles to whatever this is. And play with the lunar cyclical energies to see how you can either raise energy for this thing or remove obstacles from it by releasing energy away from it. Is that making sense? So it's tonight's, if you want to lose weight, what a great night to start, right? Like that's not mine tonight because I've been working on that this year. I overindulged and I cooked too much for the first year of the pandemic. So I had to shed that, and I've pretty much done that. But I have some new projects that I'm working on, and a lot of you do too. So let's kind of, like I say, put more gas in the tank. Let's really start the engine tonight, because that's what an Aries full moon is all about. The other thing I want to tell you, and hopefully this is inspiring to you, is we had a whole bunch of planets retrograde for months, right? I mean, almost all of the major players, Jupiter and Saturn and Mercury, right, and Pluto, everything has been moving and is moving direct. Really, by January, we will have this incredible, the kind of the arsenal will be complete. But right now we have Jupiter direct. That's the planet of good luck and serendipity. We have Saturn direct, so no more of this harsh, like, you got to learn your lesson thing. Mercury's direct, so the communication's easier. Pluto's direct. So we've gone through this period of figuring out what we have to let go of. Now we can start to build. Is this making sense to you? So anyway, all the chips are kind of stacked in your favor. So I want you to really work with this energy tonight with some intention, because the time, if there is a time to finish whatever manifestations you really need to start this year, tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. I'm gonna burn some stuff. So talk to me while I light some things on fire. While I light your fire tonight, how are you? Yeah, does it make sense? Did you, when all that stuff was retrograde, did you feel kind of held back? A lot of us did. A lot of us were like, holy smokes, when is this going to shift? It was like walking through molasses, and you're just not going to feel as much of that anymore for the next couple of months, which is really, really nice. Oh, how nice. Trembling Crown says, I have a guest which is listening too. How nice. Well, thank you. Well, I hope you enjoy the ceremony tonight. Yeah, it felt heavy, didn't it? It can really feel heavy. And so now it's like, let's enjoy the lightness of being while we have it, because obviously the planets do their thing and they rotate and transit and shift. But we have all this goodness to celebrate this evening. I'm going to show you my tools over here. And just bringing a little bit of that sage smoke over the tools, just to cleanse and clear as it feels good. Always have to clear a little extra at the full moon because it's full moon, so that's for you. Nice. Yeah, heavy and tired, right? It's been the story. So let's really celebrate and enjoy it. I think of tonight as, almost like Artemis, the archer, right, in the Greek mythological traditions, sort of pulling her, her arrow back and really aiming with a lot of accuracy tonight toward what you want to create. And if you've been feeling discouraged, because that's the number one thing I hear from people right now is like, God, Athena, I'm just discouraged. I'm kind of like, I can't get myself to do the thing. Tonight's the night to let that be your focus. Like, let tonight be the night when you kind of like re-up your inspiration. Yeah, and you absolutely can put that altar cloth on as a shawl. I think that's a beautiful way to work with it. That's what I'm going to be doing with it after tonight, is wearing it. Yeah, heavy, sad, heavy, sad. Yeah, I see you. Coming out of COVID. Good for you. Good. Yeah. Well, cheers. I see you. And, a lot of us have been gathering, some of you are new, and a lot of us have been doing this for almost a decade. We've seen each other through some real challenging stuff, but we, you know, what the moon reminds me, and I hope it reminds you of this too, and this is why I take time out of my schedule to do these ceremonies with you, it's so important to me, is to really remind you that what empties in your life will fill again, right? But the opposite is also true. What is full will empty at some point, right? Everything we gain at some point is lost, and everything we lose at some point returns to us in a different form. And that's what that lunar cycle is constantly for me. It's like an anchor of that wisdom and that truth. So just remember that when you feel down, it's like, if it's too much, it will shift. That's the one thing you can count on in life, is that nothing really stays the same. So let's talk about Freyja. She's one of my favorite goddesses in any tradition. And I'm not of the Norse tradition by lineage, but I've always felt connected to it, like maybe past life connection. Maybe some of you have too. I definitely have a shield maiden kind of aspect to me. I'm kind of tough and warrior-like in certain ways. So I think I would have gotten out there with my shield, and you probably would have too. So let's talk about Freyja. This is our representation of Freyja for you. Thought it was kind of perfect. And so she is engaging your inner warrior. So you can read about Freyja on your card, but I want to teach you a little bit about my Freyja. I'm going to start by playing this invocation for you. Let me shut this one off. It was playing something else. So I want you to take a minute, close your eyes, and I want you to just listen. I'm going to turn the music down so you can really hear this invocation in Old Norse that I saved for you.
Inna pressa och lina, ett falla förlänkar och hölj sky. Under folklingar och deras kjoldrar. Nöst din öga, för och jag vila blå. Hur fint.
That was it. So the translation is, isn't it beautiful? Did you like listening to it? Yeah, that was Old Norse, an invocation to Freyja. So it said, the flow of magic and all sacred mysteries. Under falcon wing and maiden's shield, the spark of beauty and life will shine forever. Isn't that beautiful? Very simple, but I thought that would be a nice way of connecting you with her energy tonight. I will link to that video. The rest of the video I didn't find. It's interesting, but it's an older video, and it's got some good information about Freyja if you're interested. But I saved that video forever ago because of the invocation, so I'll put it on your event page so you can go back and listen to it a little bit more. I know I wanted her to keep going too. I thought it was really beautiful. So here's what I want to tell you about Freyja. Freyja was considered really, in some ways, by some people, even more powerful than Odin, right? Who's the All-Father in the Norse tradition. I don't know that I perceive her as more powerful, but she's different. Freyja was part of an order of deities and the primary goddess who practiced a form of magic called Seidr. Commonly in English we would say Seidr, S-E-I-D-R. And Seidr, some people kind of see Seidr as like a darker magic or a black magic kind of thing, but it really wasn't. I have to tell you, that's really a modern kind of Christian take on Seidr. The reason that Christians didn't like Seidr, are you ready? It had a kind of a sex cult associated with it, because in the Norse pantheon, prostitution was viewed very differently than it's viewed today in modern society. It just like we go back to Mesopotamia. And so sexuality was a part of magical rites. It isn't today, but in those times it was quite common. And so when you know, we saw a shift from the pagan traditions to the Christian traditions. The Christians kind of weren't real into that. So what's interesting is Freyja, you know, in so many cultures and traditions where Christianity sort of took over and co-opted and shifted everything, Freyja is one of the only goddesses who really survived. She was still widely worshipped and acknowledged way past the primary, you know, overtaking of Norse traditions by Christianity. She survived all of that. And so I think part of it is she's considered to be a warrior, but also a goddess of beauty and fertility. And she was considered to have the capacity to move between the worlds of the living and the dead. And so she was seen as both mortal and immortal. You know, she had the capacity to be in and of this world, but she also had the capacity to move swiftly among those on the other side. And so when we think about Freyja, the reason I kind of aligned her to this Aries energy, for me, she is a go and get it. You don't wait for it, right? She's fearless. She's strong. She's got both masculine and feminine qualities, just like Aries does. You know, Aries women can be incredibly feminine, but they also have a very strong linear masculine edge, and the same goes for Aries men. They're very strong masculine linear, but then their divine feminine is very significant and pronounced. And so for me, it's the balance. And so what I want you to think about tonight, while you're giving all this energy to what you want to create, I want you to ask yourself, what can your feminine bring to that? And then what can your masculine bring to that? My masculine is get it done, do it faster, be efficient, right? Be logical and organized. My masculine is that type A part, but my feminine is more receptive. And how can I create space around this? And what does beauty look like when it comes to this, right? Like thinking more of the aesthetic and the process as opposed to the outcome. Is that helpful? So that's kind of the energy for tonight. Where's your masculine? Where's your feminine? Let's bring those into balance a little bit. Where do you want to put your focus tonight? If I could give you the gift of this moonlight tonight, which is what I'm trying to do through our ceremony, where would you direct that? Where would you focus that spotlight? And it might be something that, you know, is even unexpected for you. Maybe it'll surprise you, the answer that you come up with. Heidi says, Freyja, if you can't lay them, slay them. That may have not been an inaccurate statement. She was quite powerful. And also really, much like Ishtar, who we're going to be working with next month, Freyja was not afraid to work with her sexuality. I think we've lost so much of that. You know, when I think about my own roots coming out of Egypt and Greece, it's like part of what I love about my native traditions on my father's side is how much the ancient Greeks appreciated this sort of the priestess goddess archetype, right? And that beauty and sensuality and sexuality didn't have to be divorced from wisdom and magic and spirituality. So I think Freyja is a really nice reminder that all of that's possible at the same time. Don't you think? So let's, I'm going to bring you over here. We're going to light our candle. I want you just to take a deep breath. Call your energy into present time. I'm going to try not to knock that over. Yeah, and a lot of you who are Aries, you have this sort of divine energy within you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You embody this really beautifully. So, of course I chose Merlinite for Freyja's stone because this is the stone of the magician. It really represents all those principles of satyr magic, which is magic of sensuality, desire, and creativity. So I'm going to take our selenite little kitty that we're going to grid on in just a few minutes. I'm going to take that and place that right on there. You can do the same if you want, if that feels good to you. If you're going to activate a grid with me tonight, it's good to have a double terminated quartz wand with you. The reason you have a cat, this is the last little fun fact for tonight. The reason you have a cat on that selenite, do you know about Freyja and her cats? This is the other reason I love her. Because I'm a crazy cat lady, as most of you know. I even shared a little live of my cat today on my Facebook page. Freyja traveled in a chariot, and her chariot was driven by cats. Now, a lot of people have asked me over the years as I've taught about Freyja, how can you have a chariot driven by cats? What I want to tell you about the Norse pantheon and the Norse culture more specifically, especially in Iceland, cats up in Iceland are not like my smudgy, who are about 10 pounds overweight, this big, and don't get much exercise. Those are not the cats that were pulling Freyja's chariot. The cats pulling Freyja's chariot would have been more akin to like really big bobcats, like kind of huge bobcats. They looked quite ferocious and fierce. And part of the reason that, at least a lot of us who study mythology, the reason we think that in the Norse tradition, cats were associated with Freyja's chariot is that if you go back to Mesopotamia and to Egypt, often lions would be pulling the chariot of a goddess or of a god. And so what we think is the Norse tradition sort of built on that, or kind of co-opted certain aspects of those traditions. And so they just saw a cat, like a big cat. And this was Freyja's cats were the big cat version of that. But yeah, my smudgy's not pulling anybody's chariot. Unless that chariot needs to go from the kitchen to the dining room. If your chariot has to go farther than that, he's not pulling anything. So when you think about cats, now on our grid tonight, we have a really cutie cat. This is not what Freyja's cat looked like, but I didn't want to give you kind of a weird, fierce, ugly cat. I wanted to give you a cutie cat. So I gave you a cutie cat. Is that better? That is kind of better. Look at that. So that is the kitty catty that's on your selenite disc for tonight. The stones that we are gridding with tonight, I just want to share those with you. It's a little tiny mini grid. So if you have yours, you should have 4 pieces of quartz. I think you might have 6. I only have 4. And then we are working with, in the center of our grid, I'm going to turn that light back on. We are working with a citrine generator, because we're going to call in some abundance for you as well. And then the other stones that we are gridding with, azurite, of course, for your intuition. And then we have your sodalite right here, which is about you releasing fear. We have your chalcopyrite here, which is all about you working your magic. That's a stone of satyr magic, and then aquamarine. And you guys may have a couple of other little tiny stones. You may have gotten a labradorite stone in your mix too. I'm just working with these 4 tonight. You can do 4 stones or 6 stones. Technically this is a 6-sided shape, so you can do as many stones on your grid as you want or as few. But those are the 4 stones that I'm going to be working with for our grid. We'll be doing that in just a minute. And then the last thing we need to do for tonight is work with our perfume really briefly. So what I like to do is take a little bit, spray it on your wrist. We rub it at our hands for what we do, at our third eye for what we know, and just a little bit on our ankles for where we go in our travels to bless our steps. And this is a blend of jasmine, sandalwood, and orris root. Orris root comes from the iris plant. It's one of the most expensive oils in the world. And so I hope you're really enjoying this one. This one is both lower chakra, because that orris root really activates the root chakra, but also the sacral chakra. And then jasmine, which opens the heart, and sandalwood, which opens the crown. So this is designed for all that Aries energy to really kind of stir it up in your cauldron. That was the intention of this perfume. Isn't that beautiful? I'm glad you like it. Every month it's like, oh, I love this one. Oh, I love this one too. But this one will look really pretty on your vanity for a long time. That was the bottle. And if you missed it, we do have a smaller size, because I don't think we have any more at the kits, but we do have a smaller size of Song of Freyja on the website for you. So if you missed that, you can always go and get that later. Okay. So let's open a circle. Yeah, and well, it's going to dry down to that sandalwood. That's what you're really smelling at the base of that perfume, and a lot of people really love sandalwood. And this is a white sandalwood base, so it's a little bit softer than some of the, like the Australian sandalwood has a sharpness to it. This white sandalwood doesn't have that. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, you can use Freyja Dark. which is kind of an OG Sage Goddess perfume. I love it too. So whatever you've got is exactly what you should work with tonight. And let's open up our circle here. Got big magic tonight. I'm just opening up that circle. I want you to roll your shoulders back, sit up nice and tall. And let's start by calling in the guides and the guardians of the East. Opening our minds tonight, bringing clarity. Helping us to see our life and our desires from a new perspective tonight. With more passion, more enthusiasm, right? Welcoming in the guides and the guardians of the East. Yay! And to the guides and the guardians of the South under this fiery moon. That's right. I totally see Freyja in the South. Those big weird cats just flying her up here, man. In the South, you know, it's energies of transformation. And you need to transform now. Aries reminds you, you got to do things differently if you want a different outcome. What do you have to shift tonight? And welcoming in those guides and guardians of the South, welcoming in the guides and guardians of the West. Let's call in some flow and some ease tonight with all these planets moving direct, right? So I'm ready for that. Make it easy. It's so good to see you. So happy you're here. So what does ease and flow look like for you tonight? Let's breathe into that. Welcoming in those guides. Guides and guardians of the North. Calling in protection, support, strength, patience, and perseverance in the North. Wisdom of the grandparents, the generations before, standing on their shoulders. Welcoming in all the northern guides. Then calling upon those guides and guardians of the spirit element, spirit, ether, magic. Welcoming them. They're the ones who make it happen. We invite them in tonight to help us draw down that moon, direct that light toward our heart's deepest desires, helping us to push past old mindsets, limitations, hesitations, fear. All that moves when spirit comes. They are welcome here. And together we say, Amen Aho. So it is. We have a beautiful container. And 1,500 of you from all over the world tonight. I'm so happy you're here. I hope you're happy you're here too. And I hope that you're feeling the intensity of the energy. And I hope that you take this really special, rare opportunity to just light it up tonight. Whatever that is in your heart and your spirit that really needs your focus now. I'm really calling on your guides to help you dial that in tonight because you deserve it. And I want you at the end of this year to look back and say, you know what, I took advantage of that opportunity. I did it. I focused. I took the next lunar cycle to just completely crystallize and re-engage my passion. And look what I did. And I want you to have that sense of achievement at the end of the year. So that's why I'm always here at these particular phases to move you forward. So let's go over here and work on our grid, shall we? And if you have a double term wand or even just a point, that's okay too. You don't need anything fancy. You really don't. I'm a Leo. I like fancy things, but fancy things are not always necessary. And sometimes they're not even better. You know? I have learned these things in my travels. Okay, So what we're going to do is we're going to build this grid. Like I said, I'm making a 4-point grid. You can make a 6-point grid. This little selenite's really designed for that. Keep in mind, it's really nice to grid on selenite because selenite does not hold energy. It's a nice sort of a clean slate, and it's like a self-clearing crystal as well, so you don't have to worry about clearing the energy of this before you work on it. So I want you to take the crystals that you're going to add to your grid, whatever that is for you. I've got my little 8 pieces here. I want you to hold them in your left hand, cover them in your right hand, and I want you to set an intention with me right now. So what will this grid represent for you? For me, this grid is going to represent a recommitment to my writing, which I have left behind for 2 years and I'm really circling back to now. And really re-engaging my passion on all fronts in my life. And so what will it be for you tonight? Set that intention. And once you feel like you've connected the energy of the crystals to the energy of that intention, then we're ready to place our stones. Now, I always like to start things in the east. Up here is east for me in my room. So this is east, this is south, this is west, and this is north. So remember that your sodalite, if you're working with sodalite tonight, this little tiny sodalite represents you releasing fear. And I like the placement of that in the east, because in the east it's like we start a new cycle. And this new cycle should be one that you start without fear, with full courage. Now, the selenite's not going to clear the energy of your grid. You don't have to worry about that, but it's going to prevent, it's basically going to keep the space clear, but it's not going to clear your intentions. You just won't have to come through and smudge this very often, which is nice. And then in the south, what do I want to do in the south? I'm going to put my chalcopyrite, because for me that's such a Freyja stone, and I see Freyja as such a southern archetype because of her magic, because of her desire and her sensuality. So I'm going to put that right there, and for me that's going to represent my magic, and especially, you know, for me, I think that first year of the pandemic was such a big bummer, and it didn't, you know, make me sad, but it kind of dampened my energy a little bit, and I've gotten most of that energy back. But I guess this is whatever residual is just left over from that kind of, you know, that time of just being kind of static. Like I said, it's a double fire sign. I can't sit still, so that was very challenging. And then in the west, it's really a toss-up here. I'm going to do the aquamarine in the west, which is a stone of really good, clear, emotional understanding, purification. So, and also releasing, right? Any moments. Your crystals are tiny, but they're not broken. They're just little, really small pieces. Yeah. And then in the north, I'm going to put my azurite there. Azurite is such a powerful crystal for cultivating your intuition. And so I feel like I want to call upon through this ceremony, you know, Freyja was really good at helping you connect with your ancestors. So I want to call upon my ancestors in the north for their support through the process. Oh yeah. And then now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my 4 pieces of quartz just on the other side of those crystals. And that is going to mark a boundary on the grid, but it's also going to magnify the energy of those crystals as well. There's not a lot of room with my aqua, so I gotta be real careful here. And then one more little piece next to my azurite. A cute little grid. Okay, and so do you have your crystals placed too? So what we're going to do now is we're going to activate this grid with a double terminated quartz point. And we do that because double terminated quartz points send and receive energy. They're like little transmitters. So it's going to pull energy from above, which tonight is full moon energy, and channel it down through and direct it to the grid. We're basically, when we activate a grid, we're making like a web of energy. We're connecting all the crystals and their energies together. If you could see what you're actually doing energetically, you would see lines, almost like a mandala. And so we're going to activate this grid tonight. You can leave this grid up if you want for as long as you want. I'm probably going to leave mine up until the end of the year, just to really see what I want to achieve come to fruition, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Jess Parsons said, this full moon feels so ancestral for me, burning oud and Palo Santo. And part of that is, Jess, how close we are to the thinning of the veil at Samhain, right? So we're so close to that portal between the worlds. And I think that's probably why this moon has that kind of like, it's like an ancestral magic tonight. And I feel it too. And you could, yeah, that's exactly right. If you don't have a wand, thank you, Annette, you can use your index finger. You already have a built-in magic wand. Okay. So what you do to activate a grid is you hold your wand over your grid at the generator, which again is a little tiny cutie citrine from Brazil. And so I'm going to visualize that full moon light coming down through the top point of my wand down into that generator. And I'm going to ask all spirit guides, ancestors, light beings, spirit teachers in all those dimensions, and my mom too, who's my newest guardian angel on the other side, to be with me and to help me visualize the success that I seek this year. And so we're going to start by activating citrine for prosperity and abundance. And then you go out on the eastern side to the farthest most crystal, which is quartz. So we're going to go out here and activate quartz for magnification and back to citrine for abundance. And then you go out to the innermost crystal, which is sodalite. So I'm going to activate sodalite here to help me release fear and back to citrine. Okay? And then we're going to go clockwise, again, out to quartz for magnification, back to citrine for abundance, and then to the innermost crystal, chalcopyrite for magic and transformation, and back to citrine for abundance. And then I'm going to keep moving clockwise to the outermost crystal, to quartz for magnification, and back to citrine for abundance. And to the innermost crystal, to aquamarine for emotional healing, and back to citrine for abundance. And then I am going to the north, out to quartz for magnification and back to citrine for abundance, to azurite for wisdom, intuition, connection to the spirit guides, and then back to citrine for abundance. And so through this process, I activate this grid to hold space for my dreams and visions for the rest of this year and until they come to their complete fruition in the physical world. And I give thanks in advance for all the magic that's already on its way. Amen. Aho. So it is. Love it. And that is that. And sometimes some people like to kind of connect their, because some of the oils in tonight's blend, like Orris is for success, and jasmine is for desire. So if you want, you can also just take a little bit and you can touch your crystals with your oils. Is another way of kind of, activating the grid. You're using your finger, just as an alternative technique or strategy. There's nothing wrong with double activating. It gives you a chance to smell all that goodness again. Okay. Now, the last part of our ceremony, every time, that's my favorite part. Yeah, you can move it, or you can move your grid around. You can move your grid around, but don't take the stones off. Okay. So just, I am so careful when I lift that up and move it. And then if you want to glue your stones, you can either glue them in the same order that you activated, which doesn't disturb it, or you can take all the crystals off counterclockwise, which deactivates it, and then put them on again with glue. You ready? So now it's time to activate your desire. That's what the full moon is all about. And so We always have to speak in I statements, right? I illuminate, I expand. This is what we do at the full moon. At the new moon, it's I initiate, right? I begin, I allow, I receive, right? Tonight it's I expand, I grow, I illuminate, I marinate. So what are you illuminating tonight? What are you blowing up? What are you putting fuel into? Right? What do you want to nurture? And that's what the full moon's all about. What's getting bigger for you? So let's grow, let's illuminate, let's expand, let's see. I'd love for you to share yours in the feed. Yeah, you sure can, Deborah. That works too. Maybe you're expanding health. Maybe you're illuminating peace and trust. Maybe you're growing your business, so you want to just direct all of this Aries energy in that place or to that direction, right? There's always orbs in here. If you haven't seen this room, it's a pretty magical room. There's a lot of spirit energy in this room. Yeah, I don't like to say I want. Do you know why? Because I want, in spirit terms, technically you already have what you desire, right? So it's a claim, it's a receive, it's I have, I enjoy, but I want or I would like suggests that it's not there yet. So growing, expanding, illuminating, enjoying tonight. Passion, desire, health, abundance, right? And I want you to feel, as you're saying it, don't just say it. I want you to feel it, right? Your big, expanded health, what does that feel like? Your body's comfortable, right? You're in balance. You can move with ease. When you say, I enjoy prosperity, or I'm expanding prosperity, what does that look like for you? It looks like different things for different people, right? It could be a new home. It could be, buying some land. It could be taking care of your family, right? What does it look like for you? And take a minute to breathe into this. The full moon works on crystallized visions. So I really want you to see it in your mind's eye tonight, already happening. And I'm doing it with you. Love it. Success in your business, right? Fertility. Full moons are great for fertility. Unless you're like me and that's not happening anymore. But if you're looking for it, the full moon will bring it to you, baby. That's right. I'm all done there. Passion, health, love, self-care, right? All of it. You don't have to play small at the full moon. This is the go big or go home. Yeah. Building your home. Yeah. Financial freedom. Crystallize. What does that look like for you? Right? Bills paid, ease, travel. I don't know. But articulate tonight. Visualize, crystallize. And then let's go big with Jacqueline Marin. I love it. World peace. What kind of planet do you want to live on? I want to live where there's joy and connection. It's fun, right? Union and unity. Travel for me is so important. So I'm looking for that. I'm going to blow up travel, expand my borders and my boundaries, right? Yeah. Happiness at home, I love it. Healing work, yes, all of that. Going deeper, going wider. Full moon wants to know how big. How big is big, right? Yeah, baby. Good. Compassion, thank you, Alma Martinez. It's beautiful. What's a world without compassion, right? Not an easy one to be in. That's right. Just keep it focused now. Focus. And now I want you to choose one of those things that you'd really like to expand tonight. What is it for you? Knowledge, health, hobbies, relationships with your family. Is it faith and hope, optimism? Yeah. Again, this is all Aries territory. Freyja's rolling on that chariot, bring it all to you. I believe that. That's right. Love it. Kyle says, I'm motivated. Good. There's never a better full moon for motivation, honestly. The whole year in Aries. It's for you. Tonight's for you. Let's spend just another minute or two here, yeah? Expand. The other thing you can think about at a full moon is becoming. Right? Becoming. Who are you becoming? Right? More what? More relaxed. Right? I really believe that nothing should be done in a stressed way, if possible, right? There's always a way to bring a bit of ease. And that's a life lesson for me, right? Double fire. So bringing relaxation and ease. Maybe big forgiveness, right? Love that too. Becoming fun. I love it. It's good. More gentle, right? More successful. More accessible. More empowered. Yeah, I like it. Stronger. Becoming centered. That's beautiful, Lizette. I like that. Right? More whole, beautiful, Dinah Richardson. I love that. Fearless, motivated, yeah. Becoming my old self before life happened. I love that, Kevin. It's returning to the core of the essence of who you are. Right? Let's call that back. Right? Because there is that energy of like retrieval, the full moon. Calling back what's yours. Awakening your passion, Jenny. Yes. And again, just close your eyes now for just a second. Let's crystallize this. Imagine you're almost drawing it, right? And in your mind's eye, direct the light of this moon tonight. Direct it to the people you'll need, the support that you'll need, the structure you'll need, the resources that you'll need. And let's shine the big light on all of that, right? Let's call in everything you need tonight under this big full moon. From the east, let's call in everything you'll need. New thoughts, new perspectives to make it happen. Beautiful. Hillary's like, I know what it looks like. That's good. The clearer you get, the faster it comes. That's really true. And from the south, let's call in all the strength you'll need, all the courage. Yeah. And from the west, let's call in all the love you'll need, all the nurturing and the compassion, support. And then from the north, Let's call in all these, we did strength. Let's call in the grounding, right? Let's call in the trust that you'll need to stand in your vision. That's right. Shannon said, I'm having a hard time focusing. That's Aries. They just bounce around. So don't try to focus. Let your vision jump if it needs to, from one to the other to the other. You're still raising energy, but maybe if you want to jump from prosperity to joy to whatever it is. And from the element of spirit, let's call in serendipity, right place, right time. That you'll be just where you need to be, right when you need to be there. That's magic. Oh, thanks, Jerry. I love it. So Jessica's calling in patience, right? Thank you, Hunter, for that. Beautiful. A world where we look out for one another. That still is here. There are many people watching out, seen and unseen. There's still a core beauty in this world. I never lose my faith in it. It's kind of my rock, my trust in that beauty. It's true. Okay, you ready? Great Spirit, Spirit guides, Father, Mother, however you conceive of your Creator. We send all of these energies to you on eagle's wings tonight. We ask that you help us illuminate our dreams, expand our reality and our vision, and align us with everything we seek as it serves our highest good and the highest good of the collective on this planet at this time. And together we say, Amen. Aho. And so it is. It's really, really true. I always say this, but the more everybody else, materializes their dreams, the easier it becomes for you to materialize yours too, because it raises that frequency. And so I'm always wishing for people to make their dreams come true as fast as they possibly can, because we're all interconnected. That vibration of you experiencing joy and dreams come true and celebrating and all of that makes this a more exciting world for me to live in too. And when you feel sad and discouraged and down and you lose faith, I feel that too. And then I'm connected to that. So people always ask me, how do I raise the vibration? You raise the vibration by setting your own intentions and doing your own work, but also by lifting other people up and supporting them and really wanting them to succeed, because there's enough to go around for everybody. And when you start to look at it that way, you really do start to wish people well genuinely, because you realize that their happiness is somehow very much connected to yours too. It's so true. Okay. But that's paradigm shift, especially in a Western capitalist society where everything is sort of competitive. It's a novel idea to say, I actually really would like it if everybody won. It's a different perspective. So I'm so thankful to our community. I'm thankful to you for being here. I'm thankful to your spirit guides for showing up and supporting you, and I'm thankful to the entire spirit world for shepherding us through these unique times. Because we're not alone. You're never alone. You may feel like it sometimes. It may look like it sometimes. But there is such a greater force, that is animating everything and guiding everything, and it's very intelligent, and it has your best interests at heart, I believe. I really do. I really do. All right, so let's let those spirit guides go. This hour always for me goes by like that. It really does. But again, thank you for being here. I'm really so grateful for you. So let's thank and release the guides and the guardians of the Spirit Gateway. And we're grateful for your magic. We're grateful for how you come through and bring all of that serendipity and remind us that magic is real. And we release you with gratitude tonight. I'm releasing the guides and the guardians of the West. Thank you for your emotional support and encouragement, helping us to release and shed what isn't serving us anymore. And we release you with gratitude. I'm releasing the guides and the guardians of the South, that fire gateway, releasing Freyja and her cats and all of her guardians. Thank you so much for bringing us courage and strength tonight in the South. And then to the guides and the guardians of the East, thanking and releasing you. Thankful for new perspectives, new ideas, new inspiration, new encouragement, as always. And for helping us always find a way to start again. New beginnings in the East are always so inspirational to me. We release you with gratitude. And with that, another full moon has come to its conclusion. I'm going to extinguish my candle. Kind of watch where that smoke goes. Spirit side, a little bit northwest, which is wisdom and intuition, which is very appropriate for Freyja, if I do say so myself. Oh, that's good stuff, you guys. Such good stuff. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I really, really, really want to tell you that. I want to take a moment to let you know a couple of things. Because someone recently said, you know, you never mention your classes when you're online for ceremonies, and I do teach classes, and if you ever are inclined to take them, you can go to sagegoddess.com/programs. I teach ceremony. This year I'm teaching alchemy and crystal healing, and would love to have you. So if you're ever like, you know, I wonder if she does other stuff, or if there's a way to work with her more closely, certain those classes are away, and our community is around the world. We'd love to have you join us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're here, because we do other fun stuff here too, and so that way you won't miss anything that we do. And then I want to tell you that for next month's full moon, it's a full moon in Taurus. Very different energy, by the way. You're going to feel much more grounded. It's not quite as fun as an Aries full moon, but it's also not a taskmaster. Taurus is more about beauty and seduction, and but it's stubborn too. Every sign has its shadow. So the tools for next month honor Ishtar. And Ishtar is a very different goddess. She's a goddess of beauty. And so we are working with Mookite Jasper. This is your little special tool. We're going to be doing a beauty ritual, not physical beauty. When I say beauty, there is physical beauty, and that's important too, but I mean creating beauty in the world. How you specifically this year and next year too are going to be bringing beauty into your life. And that can be through love. Some of you cook and you bring beauty that way. You teach, you build things, you create things. Some of you are in construction and design. Or you're raising your family, and that's how you create beauty in the world. Or you rescue animals, and that's how you create beauty. So we're going to focus on how you create beauty and harness that energy. And so those tools are at sagegoddess.com. They are 19% off with code something flame19. I'm never good with the codes. And then one person who gets their tools before midnight tonight, they're about halfway sold out now. So if you'd like one, you can grab a set. And they're optional. You don't have to have them, but it is kind of fun. We just can't make as many as I would like to. So they are over at the website. One person who gets their tools before midnight tonight, let me show you on the other camera, is going to win this ring. It is in sterling silver. It is Ethiopian opal, star sapphire, and tanzanite. That's a custom-made ring by Shram, who is my friend and designs jewelry exclusively for me. And so one of you is going to win that ring if you get your full moon tools before midnight. I'm wearing it all day. And then tomorrow I will take it off and send it to its rightful home. Isn't that beautiful? I don't have any more of those. So good luck. I know, isn't it pretty? I want to thank Team SG. I want to thank you in particular, Alexis, as always. She's my faithful co-pilot on so many of these adventures. So she popped the link up there, and yeah, your code is FLAME19 for 19% off. That or anything else that strikes your fancy over at sagegoddess.com. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for being here. What a joy. It was absolutely a joy to be with you. And again, thank you for coming and taking an hour out of your month. You give yourself a really special gift when you do these ceremonies. I really believe they make a huge difference over time. And it's exciting to watch you grow and develop. And like I said, I'm holding space tonight for all of your dreams to come true. So what should you do now? If you have a pitcher, you should make moon water. That's what I'm going to be doing right this very minute. I always do it after full moon ceremony. I always grab Zoe and we go and make moon water. So pour some nice water if you have distilled water, or I have a water filtration system, so I do filtered water. You can put some crystals in there if you want, pop some quartz in there. That'll be charged with the full moon too. I use that water to make tea. I have a separate pitcher that I use to water my plants. My plants love moon water. Yours will too. And so that's the best thing to do tonight. We don't have an eclipse, so you're free to charge your crystals and they'll absorb all of this beautiful energy too. And then wherever you put those crystals or when you drink that water, it will reinforce all of the energy work that we've done together tonight. We'd love to see you do that. Rainwater is always good too. I have different places in my garden where I collect rainwater. We've had about this much this year in Southern California, unfortunately, but yeah. And then Kimberly Wilson said she's going to sleep. Well, sweet dreams. I hope you dream of all that's ahead of you. I have so much faith in you. I really do. May all your dreams come true. I wish that for you all the time. And again, thank you. Thank you for being here. I will see you very soon. Have a great rest of your evening.